Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee and Cards. I'm joining you live April 26th at 11:11. If you are joining me live, let me know in the comments. Let me know how your weekend was and just how you're feeling sort of overall. And we will get started. If you're new here, this is Coffee and Cards, and I will be using the Spiritual Support for Entrepreneurs deck. That was created by myself and my friend Kathy Weiss. Here's the box. And you can find this on entrepreneurauracle.com. We created this deck to help with the emotions that come with running your business. So there's lots of trainings on what to do, how to do accounting, how to, get more clients, all the things. But what I found was that in my own experience, there was no help with the emotions that come with running your own business. So the feeling of being isolated or feeling like you're not enough or the imposter syndrome. I mean, the list is sort of endless, and that's what these cards are designed to do. They help you to work through those emotions, not to ignore them or suppress them, but how to work through them. So if it is your first time joining us, welcome, and make sure you are following us on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get notifications when we upload new videos. So there's my little spiel. Welcome, Robert. Welcome, Sis. How are you guys doing? It's good to have you on here. And there is a link appearing on your screen now where you can purchase the deck. Morning, Heather. Trying a couple little new features here, and you might notice my view is a little different. So we are live from my laptop today as my other computer is getting repaired. And let's get started. Actually, for those of you that are on with me, there's 3 of you now. Maybe you could tell me in the comments how you're feeling today and what sort of emotions are coming up for you today. Crazy day for me, running around, phones ringing, Robert says. That can be overwhelming, especially on Monday. I tend, not always, I tend to wake up on Mondays already feeling overwhelmed. And that's something that I create in my mind. Things like I have to do this, I have to do that, instead of looking at it in a different way, the things I get to do or get to be a part of or people I get to interact with, like you. And Sissy's feeling frustrated today. That's totally fine. There you go. We all feel all the emotions. So it's interesting how there's this overall theme or push from society or the world or whatever you want to call it to always be fine. I'm fine. Everything's good. How are you? Good. How are you? Good. And that's not really the answer. Nobody wants to be the Debbie Downer that says, you know what? I'm just feeling a little overwhelmed. And there was actually a great article. I'll try to link it in the comments. It was about flailing, I think is what they called it. So look that up. It was about the feeling of flailing during COVID. And it really described a lot how I was feeling. And I think there's a sense that everybody was sort of feeling that way. You're fine. You're not sick. You have your health, but like you still feel like you're not quite in control is not the right word, but I don't know. It's a really good article. I wish I could remember it better for you so I could give you all of that, but right now I can't. So instead, let's pull a card for us. So what we want to know is, what are we going to look at? What's coming for us this week, or what things we need to be mindful of this week? Let's see. I mean, we won't know until we pick the card. So let me just shuffle us up here and put the rest of the cards into the pack. And Heather, I didn't see your response to how you were feeling today. So Robert is feeling kind of crazy, maybe a bit overwhelmed or busy, and Sissy is feeling frustrated. Okay. The one thing I have learned that if I start my day with like a simple audio meditation or a walk outside, something like that, something that it sort of helps me clear and focus a little bit more before I actually start the day. So instead of starting my day from waking up feeling anxious or frustrated or whatever, I start it from a different place. So then I don't create more and more of that. Because, that's what we do. So today, this week, starting with today, we're going to be looking at completion. So completion, we cannot move on to the next until the current is complete. So this can mean something different for all of us because we're all in different stages of our lives or dealing with different things. But basically what it's saying is we can't move on to the next exciting thing until we finish the one we are working on now. And let's look at the guidebook a little bit more on this so we can all be a little more clear. And what I want to point out in this photo is this flower. So this was a hibiscus plant I had last year or the year before. Either way, the completion actually was in the flower blooming. But there was quite a process that happened before then, and that's really the important part. So you have to have a seed, you have to have soil, you have to have sun, time, water, all the things. You need the bees to come by. There were all of those different things that had to happen before this could happen. So that's the visual aspect of this card and sort of how you want to remember that there's a lot of things that go into it. There was a lot of stuff that had to happen. The sun had to come out, or maybe it had to rain, or maybe I had to give it some plant food, or changing the soil or whatever it was. There was lots of things that had to happen. And Robert says he's been struggling with completion for the last few weeks. I hope it comes to a finish this week. Me too. And just keep in mind, there are things you have to do in order to get to the completion. So keep that in mind. You can't just jump straight to completion. But remember, just like in nature, every season, and as we're changing sort of to spring always comes, but you have to go through the other seasons to get to it. And that's sort of remembering that there's some patience involved. There's also that reminder of the journey, right? It's not just start and finish. The real journey and the real meat of it all is all the stuff that happens in between. So completion says things must become complete. You will feel pulled and called to move on to what's next, to discard too rapidly what you perceive not to be working in your favor. There are two things we say about this. Human reality moves at a slow pace. It is denser and the vibration lower and slower than in light and spiritual realms. So while you feel you have done the creation, and you have, it will appear to move not as rapidly in physical form. You must understand this difference, for that is merely law and an aspect of human conditioning. Completion comes from finalizing all aspects of a task. This could be proofreading and sending items to a copywriter for discrimination, reviewing a task after its completion for error and flaw that dictate refinement, settling debts and bills, and concluding final exit interviews and conversations. Seeing each aspect of your job, your chosen work, through to the end creates both physical and energetic completion that allows the next item to move in. We cannot move on with the next until the current is complete. And that's an interesting aspect to remember. There is a physical and an energetic completion. So sometimes we move away from relationships or friends or whatever it is, but we're still holding on to something. So is there something maybe that you're holding on to in your work, whether that be an old job or someone you used to work with, or, an old idea, or, it's hard to say. Like, you'll have to sort of address this with yourself. But the idea is we need to have completion in all aspects. So I hope that offers you some help this week. And on this Monday, it's going to be a great week here. We've got 80-degree weather the next 2 days, which just seems crazy to me, but that's awesome at the same time. So let's see if we have anyone that's on that would like a card. Let me know in the chat and I will pull one for you. And just know that completion happens when it's time for it to happen. We can't speed up the process. And even if we are completing something we've completed before, it may not be completed in the same time frame as it was before. So, got a few people on, so let me know in the comments if you would like a card. I'd be happy to pull one for you. And there is a link in the live window where you can purchase the cards, and that is entrepreneuraoracle.com. And there you'll find out a little bit more about how we created the deck and how you can purchase one for yourself. And remember that when you purchase a deck, you get the companion journal for free. So Sissy would like a card, and then we've got Heather. Awesome. Let's pull one of those. First, we got Sis. And Sis, yours came up quite quickly. Sit. Especially for someone that I know wouldn't want to hear this. To sit, to hold still. Commit to a practice that filters out daily noise for you to hear what lies within. So, what that is saying is you got to slow down, really assess what it is that you want and what you're doing, and make sure you're making choices aligned with your own values, not choices that might please other people or that you think are the right things to do. And in that, there will be some completion. So in order for you to get some completion, you've got to figure out what it is that you need to do to complete the process, what it is, if there's something you're holding on to or something you need to do or not do. In the stillness lies the root of all answers. This is the place from which other concepts and cards arise, including trust and patience. This is where the answers that lie within lead to the answers out there. You have two great capacities. Your first is your inner guidance system, your intuition, your gut. It sits deep inside your bones and gives a sense of complete confidence. You just know. Knowing is a gift. It tells you when it's time to stay and when it's time to leave, when it's time to double down and go harder, and when it's time to sit back and relax. You can't access this knowingness within the noise. Both internal and external noise prevents you from hearing your innate wisdom. You must commit to a practice that filters out daily noise to hear what lies within. And Sis says, probably a good one for me today. Well, I would imagine so, because the cards usually know what we need, even when we don't want to hear it, right? So let's get one going for Heather and what Heather needs to address completion or to help her with a completion, or maybe explain what completion is for her. We'll see what comes up. And for Heather, we've got motivation. Trust the inner wisdom of why you chose this life of entrepreneurialism, or why you chose this life that you're in. So this is a great card because the photo in it is a volcano I climbed when I was in the Galapagos Islands. So I took this closer to the bottom, and if you could see the card in person, you would see the path leading all the way up, and I know I was thinking, oh my, what did I get into? But I just did it, had the motivation, and that's why I chose that photo for this particular card. And what motivation says is set your motivation before going into business. Some people call this your why. It promotes and propels you on the days you don't want to work, when things feel off, wrong, or wearying. Motivation is the reason you started this whole thing in the first place. You can have multiple reasons why. We suggest you list them. Write them down by hand. Place them where you need reminding so you can see and read them. They need not be forefront at all times, for they will become noise which you tune out and therefore hold with less esteem and value. If you drew this card, it is time to take pause, evaluate, or reevaluate your motivation. And just assessing, making sure that your motivation or the decisions you are making are coming from the right place, and in that will help you with your completion. So let me know how that one feels for you. Gosh, I haven't got us quite on the right setup on my laptop, but I'll get it worked out. Let me get these cards into focus a little bit more. There we go. You're welcome, Heather. And Robert, let's pull one for you. We have pulled completion for you a couple times in the coming weeks, and I know at that time it was about getting your course together. But maybe there's some energetic completion that you need. Let's see. Commitment. You are the creator of the rules and the boundaries. And this card also was taken in Galapagos. And it's a photo of a fence. And it seems really strange to me that there was any sort of fence or gate or whatever in the middle of the wilderness surrounding this crater that was filled with all this plant life. But it seemed perfect to illustrate boundaries and what that looks like. And it's a commitment to yourself to keep boundaries, not necessarily to keep anything out, but to take care of yourself and to stay in alignment. And there's a quote for commitment in the guidebook. It says, commitment is what transforms a promise into a reality. And in this case, it's a promise to yourself. So that could be taking better care of your body. It could be setting goals of, work goals or life, relationships, whatever it is. If you do not put forth a contract, there is no commitment. But who's not committing? Is it your client or is it you? You are in charge of your destiny and the direction of your work. You are the creator of the rules and the boundaries in which people pay, engage, and play with you and your work. Your lack of putting forth a clearly defined, well thought out contract of terms of service and agreement is a lack of commitment on your part, not theirs, even in the waiting or signing of it. If you choose to move forward in any way without a contract, You accept that there is not a full commitment on everyone's part, for it provides you with an out as well. So this could also, I think, in terms of business or launching your course, Robert, has to do with like your plans for where it's going, or just setting out clear goals. And that was something I was actually working on last week, looking at like 3-year goals, what my work looks like, what I'm working on, and also like in my personal life doing the same thing. So maybe there just needs to be some clear paths or goals set out, or just being clear about what it is and isn't, just taking off the filter and just really looking at it for what it is. And I feel like for you, there's some sort of energetic completion that will come from that. So, and Robert's saying, yep, perfect reminder. Oh, good. Awesome. So great to have you guys here. And I really appreciate you coming in every Monday and Thursday at 11:11. And even if you're joining us on a replay, we appreciate you there as well. And we are extending this reading, and all these things we were talking about are perfect for you in whatever time you are watching it. So with that, I think we will end today. And hopefully on Thursday, I'll be back with my regular setup, and we will get back to business. So think about completion, and then also whatever cards were chosen for you. And then on Thursday, let's come back and talk about it. Oh, Sissy's saying I should pull one for myself. Okay. Sure. I could do that. Good reminder, sis. I do pull cards for myself, but normally when I'm on here with you guys, I make it more about you. But it is important to remember ourselves, and I get something from every single card I pull for you. So in a sense, I am always pulling them for myself. And hopefully I can translate or give you some insight that helps you. Well, the cards are being a little quiet. Oh, here we go. Trust. This is a good one for me. Trust must arise from the peace you hold within yourself. Begin here. And actually, I was thinking about this morning during my meditation. And it's about trusting that I'm on the right path, or that things from the past were part of where I was today. Because I tend to focus on, silly things, even something I said in a conversation and what I should have said instead, or, just looking at that past. And there was something I heard this week that talked about drawing a line. Can you just draw a line today? And everything in the past is just that, in the past. And trusting that you're making the right decisions, and that, that you've got this. So, or that I've got this and I'm making the right decisions. So, and that will lead for me to have some energetic completion with some of those things that I replay in my head over and over. And I can be free from some of that energy holding me back. So that's a good reminder. So thanks, sis. Thanks for making me pull one for myself. If there's anyone else on here, I think we've gotten through everyone that was on live today. But if you are here, I'll give you a couple more seconds. If you want a card, let me know. And if you missed the live today, come back on Thursday at 11:11, and that will be our last coffee and cards for the month. Can you believe we're almost into May? So have a great week, Robert. It was great to have you. Thanks for joining us all the way from Romania. Sis and Heather, thank you for always being on the calls, and I hope you guys have a great day. I will see you this Thursday, not next Thursday. Anyway, have a good one. Thanks for coming.